Good evening, everybody. Hey, hopefully you've been watching some of my other videos. I've been working on a customized Savi's hilt. This is the hilt that I built in Disneyland. It's got a bantha hide at the front. It's got some brylark inlays in the middle and on the extruder or on the emitter, and it's got cartouche and whalebone down at the bottom. If you've been to Disneyland, if you've done any of the Savi stuff, you know that these two parts are interchangeable. They can be swapped back and forth. They can be swapped out with other stuff. I built this one 2019, so had it for about 4 years. I love it. You know, it's an amazing experience working at Savi's. It's got really good weight. It's really good feel to it. The upper hilt has like a leather feel to it, so it's really nice and grippy. This has some texture to it, so it feels like real bone. The issue that I've always had with them is the location of the switch. Whenever I did any tricks, did any movements and stuff like this, I would constantly turn it on and off. So I wanted to change that. So if you've seen these before, they disassemble pretty easy. You just take everything off. Everything's on screws. Real easy to work with. And then you get down to the chassis itself. Now if you'll see, there's 4 screws. If it'll focus here, there's 4 screws on the top and the bottom that hold these outer pieces on. That's what I disassembled. I took these off and I came down to the actual inner black piece, which is the inner piece of the chassis. So that's what I worked on. So I'm also going to do a review. I've got a Jaymoo's customized blade from Jaymoo's Playground. So far, everything I've dealt with Jaymoo has been amazing. The communication in the beginning is awesome. He explained how the blade works. He explained how it's only color changing. It works with the Savi's kyber crystals. It works with his kyber crystals. I've got a customized Savi's, or I got a customized kyber crystal from him that's orange that I'm going to use in this blade. So I want to show the difference between the Savi's hilts and Jaymoo's hilts, or excuse me, the Savi's blades and Jaymoo's blades. So I'm going to go get the blades and we'll be right back. All right, so here is the Savi's blade, standard 31-inch long, I believe. Like I said, got this 2019, so it's about 5 years old. I believe they're still making everything the same. Blue kyber crystal from Savi's. Pop the crystal in, give it a spin, make sure it's seated. Pop the battery pack in. 3 AAA batteries. There's a red line on the battery pack and a red line on the inside of the chassis to help you assemble it. And in twist. There's your sound that it's powered up. That's the sound that it makes when you don't have a blade in. The blade has 2 different size notches. It has a large and a small. Match them up with the end of the emitter side. And in twist, hear the same sound that we make when we got it in. This is your key switch. And what it does, there's a little reed switch right here and a magnet on the switch. That's how it's activated. Put it on, and there's your activation. So, as you see, blue activation, good sound control, and that is your Savi's blue lightsaber. Now, here's my hilt. As you can see inside, It's still the same chassis. This is the black part of the chassis with the two gray pieces taken off. You can see the exposed kyber crystal area. You can see two of those bolts that hold the gray pieces on. And I've used the other 4 to hold this clear PVC on. Now this is just 1 1/4 inch or 1 1/2 inch clear PVC that I've turned down on a lathe to give it a little bit smaller diameter. This is CPVC ending that I again milled down to match the outer diameter of the emitter, and then bolted it on with 2 bolts. Same thing what I'll do. These are threaded inserts that are heat pressed into the PVC. Running a yellow kyber crystal right now. I've got an orange kyber crystal from Jaymoo's Playground that I'm going to use in the next part of the video to show the differences between these two blades. So here's my button that I turn it on and off with. Just a momentary switch that I got off of Amazon. Got like 50 of them for $8 or whatever. So again, line up your notches on the blade and line up your notches on the battery pack. There's that sound. There's the kyber crystal lighting up just like it would if it was inside of your blade. So got it flashing. If you ever look down inside the tip of the blade, you'll see that flashing. It's one of the things that causes the battery to die all the time. So I'm going to finish assembling this, and I'm going to start breaking out the Jaymoo's Playground blade. Alright, so here it is fully assembled. Got the 2 little bolts threaded in. That holds the base end. This is just conductive copper tape that again I bought off Amazon. I just wanted to give it a little bit of color. Got some copper on the inside to give it some color. Got some exposed circuitry. All that is just a printed piece of picture for a little bit of splash of detail. And like I said, it's a yellow kyber crystal. So same thing when you hit it. Same thing, works exactly the same as your Savi's lightsaber does. Alright, so here again is the Savi's hilt. Find my notches. Big one is on the outside. So that's our yellow. Activates, deactivates exactly the same way that the Savi's hilt does. Main difference is where that button is at. That's been the only complaint that I had with the Savi's hilts. So whenever I would twist it, activate it, so now that button stays at the top, never gets in the way of my hand, never bothers me, never turns on and off. I can use it with both hands. I can switch it in and out. I'm super, super happy with how this has turned out. Like I said, activates, deactivates exactly the same way. I'll go get, there's a small board right in here, and it's got 2 terminals that are exposed. I'll grab that board and I'll show you exactly where I wired that in. So here's that PC board. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Probably won't. Not my luck. So this is the board. Like I said, there's that little reed switch. There's the little reed switch. And if you look at the back side of this board, right here, It's not going to focus for me, but there's 2 test points on there, and they're labeled A1, I believe, and A2. So I just went and wired directly into these 2. Yeah, it's not going to focus. It's what happens when you videotape off of a camera, off of a phone. So here's the board. Like I said, right there at the top, those are the 2 test points that I went into. Soldered into there, ran those wires through the hilt. Comes up through the hilt on the inside, just the same way the ribbon cable on the power wire does. Out. I made a little bit of notch here. I've customized a little bit on this. There's a little, you can see the little white part of that. That's a little 2-prong plug that plugs in, so I can take this apart. Wires come in, go straight to the switch. Looks exactly the same. I can even take a magnet, put it on here, and it'll activate the same way. So now we're going to move on to the Jaymoo's Playground blade and start to do our comparison. All right, so this is going to be a complete